week in racing. It's time to recap it. And who better to do it than Michael and Magic? Two bros/pros who cover the highs and lows of racing around the globe on every one of their shows. Real fans look forward to these guys and their last thoughts, cause they know they're not talking out of their royal ascot. What they say makes sense. So ladies and gents, sit back and relax as Blinkers Off presents The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show.
Huzzah!
Episode 251. We're officially over the hump. Over halfway to 500. Mr. Samich, happy Thursday to you.
How's it going, man?
It's going great. Listen, I'm having a great day. The sun's shining. You can see it right behind me if you're watching live or replay on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Thanks so much. By the way, give us a like, a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. Helps get our videos into more people's hands. Listen, this Thursday's been fun for me. I was telling you before we went live that we had our third trimester ultrasound this morning, so that was a great thing. It's 3D, so you can see videos and images of like what his face is going to look like when he comes out in a couple months. So it's always really exciting. It's very fun. The problem is I never want to work afterwards. It's like seeing that. Whatever it happens during the day, whenever I see that, I'm like, that's all I can think about the rest of the day. That's all I care about. So doing that at 7:30 in the morning and then like, okay, now I got a full day of work to do for the Racing Dudes. I'm like, I don't care, man. But I'm going to care because of you and because of the show. You're
still in the honeymoon phase. Just wait. Like, get a couple months in. You're like, anything but that. Just get me away.
That's fair. Yeah, great day here. It's an exciting thing. It's an exciting day to be part of the Racing Dudes team because the brand new website design officially launched yesterday morning. This is something that's been going on in secret for probably almost a year now, maybe over a year. They've been working on slowly trying to get this thing switched over. So got a brand new design, so make sure you go to racingnews.com, check it out. This is day 2 of it. We've had a couple of bumps and bruises. It's to be expected. You know that as well as anyone, Mike, in the tech world. But it seems to be going well, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback. So if you folks can do us a favor and go take a look at it. If you have any feedback, shoot us an email at contact@racingnews.com. We'd love to make it better for you.
Yeah, I'll be tomorrow is the first day I'll be putting in. I didn't do a weekly grid this week because of this new website. And Aaron's like, just don't. Like, we have enough problems, just don't. So first day I'm using the Samobomb side of it is going to be tomorrow. So I'm excited to see how it goes and how easy or hard it is to actually put that stuff in there. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It looks great, and it's nice to have the revamped back end too. I'm excited about everyone who doesn't see the back end doesn't realize how excited I am about the back end. Because like it's going to cut down on mistakes. Logging in and out won't be a thing. Like there's different things that's going to make the user experience so much better once we get this thing rolled out completely.
Oh, it's fantastic. And this stuff doesn't matter to the rest of the people, but what Mike is talking about when he or Aaron go through and they put in the picks that you folks buy for the premium products, the new version now is you literally just go click, 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 and then boom, there's Mike's picks for that race. Click, 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 boom, that's Mike's picks for that race. Before, it was type, 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 type. Upload, post, set. It was a whole big complicated process. Aaron basically said, once this website, we get through the bumps and bruises, this website's going to run itself, which is fantastic. Just bring on the robot overlords. Just run everything. I'll just sit back and watch the horses.
Yeah, you're just going to have to deal with all the comments this weekend when people can't log in. I'm not envious of you on that front, but it's going to be interesting. We got to get into best thing I saw. I got like 6 of them. I'm ready to go.
Please, no, it's 6. Usually it's the opposite here. So yeah, go ahead. Usually
I'm all over the place, man. Okay, best thing I saw. First off, let's start out with the return of both Sam Houston and Oaklawn after these like crazy, like long stretches of just terrible weather. Hopefully everyone's safe in those areas after the snowstorms and the power outages and the freezing and everything. Sam Houston comes back yesterday. 12 races, full fields, 2 pick sixes, 2 pick fives. Both pick sixes carry over. Really unique thing. There's an early pick 6 and a late pick 6. Race 1 through 6, race 7 through 12. If 1 through 6 carries, it carries 7 to 12. Really interesting way that they're handling it. So I'm rooting for a carryover here in this early pick 6, because then hopefully we get a late pick 6 carryover, which is a triple carryover into the late one. So that's the one I'm hoping for. Oaklawn, man, it's a new world of handicapping. You had a 50-1 and a 40-1 win 2 of the first 5 races. So absolutely nuts there. I think you actually have to take into account these horses haven't been training. You can have, I think speed's been a lot better at Sam Houston and Oaklawn because the horses haven't been in training. They get tired a little bit quicker. So that's my first one. Happy to have both those back. Love what Sam Houston did to kind of make up for the time. I obviously have to say this Gulfstream Park card on Saturday is incredible. Like this game would be the best thing I saw if I didn't have like 6 of them. So that one I have to at least like the candid mention there. But anyway, I went. So my cousin just had a baby, and her husband loves whiskey, and I have not been able to find this whiskey. It's called Defiant. It's a North Carolina brewery forever. And so I was able to find it. I got him a bottle. Really excited about that. But when I was there, look what I found. Calumet Farm whiskey.
Oh, nice.
I've never had this before. And I saw it there, and I'm like, I kind of have to buy a bottle, right? Like, there's no chance I can't buy this. So I'm saving this one for Saturday. I'm looking forward to drinking some nice Calumet whiskey. So this is the best thing I saw today is these whiskeys and the horse racing and the card and everything. It's a great day. Good stuff going on here.
Aaron, Oxbow, staying at Calumet Farm.
They put one strand of his tail in every bottle.
Oh, God. I'd still drink it. Man, that's incredible. One of my favorite parts about Kentucky, the 2 times that I visited when I went to Louisville to Churchill Downs, the whiskey selections. It's secretly just it's like I know that's where Tennessee and Kentucky, that's the whiskey home for America, but good Lord, you just walk into your basic convenience store, like a 7-Eleven or something like that, and you look at their whiskey and you're like, the selection, like, geez, like there's Whistle Pig in here. Whistle Pig to me is like the greatest bourbon whiskey I've ever tasted. So when they're in those little shacks like that, I'm like, this, Kentucky's not all bad. I'll give you horse racing and whiskey, Kentucky.
Like whiskey to Kentucky is like slot machines to Las Vegas. No matter where you go, there's always a slot machine. No matter where you go in Kentucky, there's always a bottle of whiskey you can buy. Are Sundays, except in isn't the Jack Daniels County? No, that's Tennessee. Never mind.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
Which is also screwy because it's a dry county.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the county at the moment, but it's where they make the Jack Daniels. That's the only place you can get a drink is literally at the distillery. So locals, you want to get tie one on. You want to tie one on? Just go do a couple of tours and you've got it. So yeah. Oh yeah, Dennis says and college basketball. All right, Kentucky's got 3 things. I'll give you that. Best thing that I saw, I'm going to kind of piggyback what one of Mike's there, the Gulfstream Park card, 14 races. Anytime a track like Gulfstream, or literally any track, when they can get 14 races on a card, me out here in California, I get really jealous and really envious. I'm like, man, that's really awesome. Like, we don't have that out here, but I'm really glad to see Gulfstream's got the horse flesh for that. 9 graded stakes races on the card, and they're all in the Inside Track to Fountain View Stakes wagering guide, which is available for pre-sale, I think, at Racers. I don't know. The guys have been busy with the website, so we're a little behind on the pre-sale setup, but I'm positive Jared's working hard on that. Aaron is as well. But the guide, man, I got the guide last night, turned it back over to Aaron and Jared about an hour and a half, 2 hours later. Jesus Christ, this guide is so crazy good. There's so much info. It's very dense. So go check that out. But the best thing that I found out while I was editing the guide. Did you know? Well, you do know this because I texted you, but let's just pretend I didn't text you about this, Mike. Did you know that very soon from now, for less than $100, you will be able to own micro shares in both Monomoy Girl and Got Stormy through My Racehorse. They bought into the leasing rights into those 2 horses. They're going to be offering the shares probably in the next week or 2 here. $45 a share for Got Stormy, $46 a share for Monomoy Girl. However you feel about the My Racehorse model, you love it, you hate it. We're big fans of it on the Magic Mike Show. I don't understand how anyone who's a fan of Got Stormy or Monomoy Girl wouldn't, for $45, $46, just get 1 micro share and just make it that much more exciting when the horse you love so much runs. So the second that those horses are going on sale, I'm buying shares. I initially talked about with Aaron that I was going to buy shares in my future son's name. Problem is you need a social security number to do that. He ain't got one yet because he's not here yet. So. But Aaron, I told Aaron, I was like, listen, instead of a baby shower gift, just get a bunch of shares in Monomoy Girl and Got Stormy and put them in my son's name, and we'll call it even. Chef's kiss. It's beautiful.
Yeah, as long as it's not a college fund, you're good to go. I mean, the key with My Racehorse is just understanding what you're buying into. You're buying into it to have fun. You're not buying into it to buy a mansion, man. If your investment strategy is to buy My Racehorse horses, I've got some $5 bills for sale for $20. Let me know.
Yeah, it's great. And listen, I think that's a big part of why we've been big proponents of My Racehorse and why we haven't quite understood all the hatred and shit that people pile on. It's a lot of fun.
You're buying for it's the same thing as going to a movie, except your movie is going to run 2 minutes at a time, hopefully 6 or 7 times over a year, right? Like that's the whole thing. That's what you're paying for.
Listen, Monomoy Girl is, and here's the thing too. So Florent Giroux kind of tipped their hand with their plans for Monomoy Girl. Let's just say they're not targeting just female-specific races in 2021 with Monomoy Girl. So, so you hear that, and then I say it's going to cost you $46 and you can be that much more invested in the ride. I'm like, here, both hands, take my money, please.
Well, to me, you just grab a slice and then you hope that you win one of the lotteries to go to the track and stand in the ring or in the winner's circle with these horses. I mean, that's the whole goal of it, right? You're paying $46 to get into a lottery.
Yeah, and I think, well, shoot, where's the Breeders' Cup at this year, Mike? Is it? Oh, it's at Del Mar. Oh.
Where the surf meets the turf, my friend.
Oh, well, where Magic's just about an hour or two drive away to go see his new favorite horses. Yeah, it could be fun. So it was fun. That I will hand it to Blood Horse because I figured this all out on my own last night. And I called Aaron because I was like, he had just texted me, and I know it's 11 o'clock his time, but I called him. I was like, dude, and we talked about it, got all excited about it. I was like, nobody's broken this story yet. I cannot wait to be the one to do this. And I got all excited. I was like, as soon as the guide's done, I'll do it. And about 10 minutes after I hung up the phone, I saw that Blood Horse had the article, and I literally, my wrist, I just threw it across the office. I was like, God damn it. I was like, I'm going to break some big news. This is going to be fantastic. So they got the job done.
You got scooped.
I got scooped. Listen, we're going to try and scoop a bunch of money at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. We've got the Saturday late pick 4 sequence to cover. It's all graded stakes. We got a Derby prep and Oaks prep. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into it, Mike. Riders up. All right, here, let me share screen. And there's people who were commenting. I appreciate you guys who are also saying that you've had good experiences with my Racehorse, because it really, I know we have our fun sometimes with them, but it really is, if you, like Mike said, if you know what you're getting into, it's a lot of fun. I was talking to Dennis about it, my Racehorse, a few days ago too. So by the way, Dennis, $46. You're in on Monomoy. You're in on Got Stormy. One of them's going to be there in Kentucky, right next to where you're at. So one to consider if you didn't already invest. Okay, here. Let's see. Race 11. You good to go?
Let's roll.
Cool. 3, 2. All right, kicking things off for the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, February 27th. Let's go to race 11 on the card. This is the Grade 3 $125,000 Honey Fox Stakes field of 8 fillies and mares, 4 and up, plus 1 main track only entry, going a 2-turn mile on the turf course. Favoritism is on the number 2, Got Stormy. We just talked about her. The newly owned My Racehorse horse, Got Stormy, is the 7-5 favorite. Going back out to a mile after we saw last fall, Mike, that she turned into a really sharp turf sprinter. So we'll see how she handles that. Aaron wrote about it in the guide. I agree with him wholeheartedly here. How you play this race depends solely on how you view Got Stormy. Do you think she's going to win? You probably go short. Do you think she's beatable? Boy, you can spread. I'm curious to hear what you think.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those tough ones. This is the first time she's been miling against the girls in a very long time. I mean, almost 3 years since she's run a straight mile against just the fillies and mares. So interesting to see her to show up here. She's been running in these mile races against the boys for just time and time again, and obviously shortened up, did some turf sprinting. Look, one of the things we always talk about, when do you take shots against? First race back, one of the classic times to take a shot against. The fact that she shows up here in the Grade 3 Honey Fox makes me want to take a shot against even more. The fact that it's not a Grade 1, the fact that she's not going against the boys, that this is the spot they come back in makes me feel like she may not be completely tuned up. And additionally, this isn't the goal. We often talk about that as well. What's the goal of a campaign? The goal is not to win the Honey Fox. The goal is going to be the next couple steps that you're going to see. Because of that, and you're going to hear me say this quite a bit, I'm going to take a shot against the chalk here. This sequence could easily end up paying $40 or $4,000. Because if you beat, there's going to be one horse in every race that is going to be sub 7-5. If you beat all 4 of them, this thing balloons. And I think you can. I think you have to be very, very targeted on how to do it, but I do think it's possible. I'm going to go to Zofel. I'm only going to go 3 deep here. I am going to use Got Stormy. I do think you kind of have to use Got Stormy in this spot, but the 6-horse Zofel is really interesting to me. I mean, you look at the improvement that this horse has shown time and time again. And then this last race where you come out at Gulfstream, running the Marshall River, runs really well, is able to run down a field when speed was playing so well. Was able to come from off the pace and get the job done. Runs a 94 Beyer, career best. Now we got second time out as a 5-year-old. This is early 5-year-old, late 4-year-old time frame. That's when we love second time out. I think you can logically say this horse is going to improve. And don't look now. Horse loves Gulfstream too. I think that's something you have to kind of look at this and say, wait a second, the best races this horse has run have all come at Gulfstream. So I think the 6 here is awfully live. I'm going to go 3 deep. I'm going to use the 6 as my top pick. If you want to really get aggressive, I think you could single the 6. I do. If you're one of those people who's like, I don't like God Stormy, I think singling the 6 isn't a terrible idea to really separate yourself and be able to go deep in the rest of the sequence.
Well, yeah, and especially because 2 races later we'll get to it, but the very one stakes, man, I feel like you can just take a handful of darts and throw them at the board, and you probably have just as good a shot at hitting. But we'll get to that later. I'm with you on Zofel, the top pick here, and the chat is with us as well. Lots of people chiming in about Zofel. Listen,
7-2 might be a gift based on the way this is going.
Oh hell yeah, 7-2. Well, then that's the beauty of Got Stormy being here at 7-5. She can take a lot of money. At 7-2 with Zofel. At first I was like, oh, that's kind of short, and then wait a minute. She should be like lower than 7-2. She was my top pick in the March was River that was on the Pegasus undercard. She was a lot of people's in the guides top pick or second pick, so everybody was big on her there. This is now going to be her second start after an 8-month layoff. Brendan Walsh's barn is not known for coming out super strong after a really long layoff like that. But second off, that's when he tends to hit, and that's what you're going to get here with this horse. Brendan Walsh is also 20% when a horse wins last out, so he knows how to keep them in good form. And you can see from her form, she raced overseas. She's Irish bred. When she came to the United States, she won her first 3 North American starts. That alone is a really big deal that I don't think enough people give her credit for, because it's very difficult to win that first race. But then to win it and keep winning as you climb the ladder says a lot about this horse's ability. And Brendan Walsh being the type of trainer he is, that's not something that you normally see. The last note, Tyler Gaffalione was on last time. He's got the commitment to Got Stormy. He's always going to have that commitment, I think, now after what happened when he was off her in the 4-star Dave and she won that race. Irad Ortiz Jr., not a bad replacement for Tyler Gaffalione, right? He's only won both starts for Brendan Walsh at Gulfstream Park in the past, and he's 2 for 3 overall. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the 3-time defending Eclipse Award-winning jockey. So, pretty good replacement. We can touch on Got Stormy real quick because she's a very obvious pick here. This is a defensive use for both of us here. I think that she's obviously the class of the field. I like that she's got the inside draw here with that short run up to the turn. Past 23 months, her worst buyer at a mile or less was 94. That will beat every horse in this field if she can get a 94. I love the stat that you brought up, Mike, about the fact that she hasn't faced straight females going a mile since December of 2019, which, by the way, the last time that she did that, she won the Grade 1 Matriarch at Del Mar, one race after being second in the Breeders' Cup Mile. So plenty of class. A little concerned about the layoff, a little bit concerned about her age, but Mark Cassie's been very strong on her from the start. Now let's talk about where we diverge. You and I liked the 8 and the 9. I went one direction. You went another. I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those interesting things where when I saw Art of Almost shows up here, I kind of scratched my head. Cassie's got Stormy. Why are you putting another one in here? And this is the first time that Art of Almost is going to be in the barn. You get John Velasquez, who's going to pick up the mount. He's not so bad himself on a turf horse. Not as concerned about the 9 post, because that's going to end up as the 8 post after we have the main track only horse that's going to be scratched out. And really, the 8 post is not that bad of a spot for a horse that's going to want to come from off the lead. Additionally, there's a ton of pace in here. You're going to talk about the pace in a second. There's going to be at least 2 horses that want to go out there. And then I look at Art of Almost, and look, I remember this horse losing to Cafe Americano the day Chad Brown swept the stakes races at Arlington, RIP Arlington. And this horse ran a good third behind him. This horse has bounced around a little bit, but last time out in the My Charmer, ran at Gulfstream Park, ran a good race. Now we're switching barns into the Cassie barn. You pick up Velasquez. We're getting a nice freshening off the layoff. I'm not as worried about this horse being able to fire. It's done pretty well. The only time we have it off a layoff was over the mud. And so I'm looking at the second time out there where it ran really well. I have a feeling this horse is going to run big. It makes no sense. This horse is in this race with Got Stormy sitting there if the horse isn't expected to run well. So the fact that Cassie is going to put this horse in there with Got Stormy makes me feel, A, Got Stormy is vulnerable, and B, you kind of have to use them both if you're going to use one. So I ended up going 3 deep here. I'm going to go 2, 6, and 9, and hope the 9 can take a nice step forward here first off the layoff as a 5-year-old.
Like I said, I considered the 9. You made great points for her. My concern is she lives up to her name way too often. Boy, she loved to just almost get there. And you look at the fact that she only had 1 win from 9 starts last year and was competitive in all but one of those races. I can't trust that she's going to get this job done, but there are plenty of angles to like her. So if you do, like Mike does, no shame there. I'm going to use the 8 Jakarta, and it's because of the pace scenario. Listen, pace-wise, you got Stormy likes to be up close. She doesn't have to be on the lead, which is nice. She has tactical speed. But you know exactly what you can get with the 8 Jakarta. Burn, baby, burn. This horse is coming out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, she's never routed once in her life because the one time she tried going a 2-turn mile on the turf at Gulfstream Park, it got rained off, and that becomes a 1-turn dirt mile. So you know she's going to go. And look who's coming down to ride, Kendrick Carmouche. What does he do? Burn, baby, burn right out of the gate. So I think there's a chance that she could get away and get an early lead. And you know as well as I do, you know better than I do, Gulfstream Park plays very favorably to turf. The question here is, do you think that Got Stormy is going to sit right there and be able to capitalize and pounce? Or do you think the Jakarta is able to run off because you know for a fact she's doing one thing, and that's going from the gate? I'm going to trust that she can get that early lead by herself. And if Got Stormy doesn't have that punch, Jakarta might be able to just take them gate to wire. You sound like you think that Got Stormy is going to be too much of a pace presence to let that happen, thoh.
Yeah, I think Get Stormy's going to be pretty keyed up here first off the layoff. Generally, I feel like she's going to be on her toes and want to go out toward the front.
Work says she will be, yeah.
And like she's also, remember, been coming out of turf sprints. So the last 3 times that we've seen her, she's run short and gone very fast early. So I think when she gets back into the gate, you're going to see more of that turf style, or the turf sprint style, than you're going to see the turf mile style. And in the turf mile, she was darn fast anyway. I actually think all of this sets up for the 9, which is the funny part. Art of Almost has tactical speed, can go 46 and change and close into it. I mean, that's why I like this 9 horse sitting out here, because you're even with a fast pace, the 9 horse is going to be able to sit close to it and make a move. Now, is Art of Almost good enough? I don't know. But because that, I think the 8 and the 2 are going to hook up. I don't see really any way. Look, the 8, we talked about this on the Rocket Hour yesterday. There's horses that sometimes have to go. Their only choice is to go. The 8's only choice, Jakarta, is going to go. And then the question is, does the 2 Got Stormy hook up with it? I think you kind of see Scott Stormy get keen early and hook up with the 8. And if that happens, it sets up for the 9 right next to him, because I think the 9 is going to get first run, and it sets up for the 6, Zofoil, who's going to be the one I think charging from the back with the best chance.
Real quick, because Dennis asked about it, the 4. Did you consider the 4 at all? I looked at her. I was confused why she was in the mile race and not the mile and 3/16 race. It's later on in the sequence here. But what did you think about the 4?
I wouldn't talk anyone off the 4. I would want a little bit better than 5-1. That was one of my big issues here. I think that, look, Mott has been on fire bringing these horses back. He's done a very good job. That race at Saratoga obviously comes back strong, so there's nothing missing there. I would say that because of the layoff, that's why you're seeing it in the mile race here instead of the mile and 3/16 that we'll talk about in a couple races. So that's one of those where, like, look, if you have a big opinion later and you want to single one of the favorites, or you want to single a horse, then adding a horse like the 4 here, I think makes sense if you think Got Stormy is a vulnerable favorite. I think Got Stormy is probably the second most likely favorite to win in the sequence. And because of that, I'm not going to go as deep, but I am going to take a couple swings.
Well, let's talk about another horse that's favored just as much as she is. We'll move on to the second race of the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, February 27th, race 12. This is the grade 2, $200,000 Davona Dale Stakes. Nice big fat field of 12 3-year-old fillies going a 1-turn mile at Gulfstream Park on the dirt, and all eyes are on this horse right here. Number 3, Vequist, 7-5, your favorite. She's coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, where she was the champion there. Beautiful ride from Joel Rosario up the rail. Mike, 7 of the last 13 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies champions won their next start. They all did it at age 3. However, recent years, we haven't quite seen that happen. So I'm curious what you think is going to happen and what you did with Vequist, because just like last race, I think a lot of how you play this race depends on what you think of the favorite.
Yeah, I think this is the one you try and beat. I mean, that's, to me, Vequist is the most vulnerable of the favorite subset here. Look, I'm really interested to see all of these horses that won at Keeneland come back and how they perform in certain places. That track was, it was pavement, man. You saw a track record falling left, right, and center during that Breeders' Cup. You had to be close to the lead. No one was able to close from the clouds during that 2-day period. And I think Vequist kind of got the dream setup, and Rosario got the dream rail trip. And that's one of the reasons you saw the Vequist run so well. Additionally, you're looking at 6-1 when Vequist is able to win. You're going to come back and you're going to pay sub-even money in this spot. And to me, there's a bunch of interesting horses. And you know when horses take illogical steps forward? Early in their 3-year-old season. Like, there are a bunch of horses that I think could just jump up. And we don't know, like, let's say Vequist comes back the same as or a little bit worse. I think there's 4 or 5 horses that can beat her here, and I think you're going to pay even money to find out with Vequist. So this is the place, and I think this is going to be one of the heaviest bet horses as well. So to me, this is the place where you really try and take a swing. I'm going to go in 4 deep here. I am going to use Vequist as a defensive use because I have someone I like against the favorite in every single leg, and I like the last leg the most, and don't need to go very deep to get to the winner, I believe. So I am going to defensively use Vequist here, but my top pick is going to be a Mott horse, ironically the 5 horse. Oh man, Millie Fawilly. We're going to go with Millie Fawilly.
So the French pronunciation Mille Foy, but because Aaron's dog is named Philly and Jared's dog is named Millie, we have all decided that her name is officially Millie Philly. So this is both of our top picks. Talk about the 5 Millie Philly.
Yeah, Millie Philly, man. Like, you look at the progression. Started out at a mile, ran well. Second time out, broke its maiden at a mile. Goes out to a mile and an eighth, runs well. This is a daughter of Curlin, out of a war front mare. Like, I think that this is a big, big horse that you're going to see run very well. Has tactical speed, so isn't going to be too far back. Is going to be able to fly right around the outside. I love the 5-1 price. And Mott is really good at this. He's really good at this off the layoff move. And this is a big step for this horse to go from Demsel there. I don't even know. Going from the mile and eighth race, stakes race, grade 2 at Aqueduct, and then going into this race, the Davona Dale, where this is one of the major preps into that Kentucky Oaks Trail. I think he's shown a ton of confidence here putting this horse in this spot. It's interesting because I'm a little more skeptical last time. And I think this is a spot where you're showing your hand, saying you're ready for this horse to run, because look, they're trying to build this horse up to be able to get to that mile and eighth distance. I think you're going to see a big effort. If you look at the 86 buyer, if we can take a step up to the mid 90s, which I think is pretty logical, it fits right in here, and you're getting way more than 5-1 as well. So, or you're getting way more than the 7-5 you're getting on Vequist. So I like the 5 for quite a few reasons in this spot. Yeah,
I'm going to agree with everything you said, and the one addition I will make here is that Malathat, the horse that came flying late to be here in the Demoiselle, Malathat's undefeated in 3 starts, and Malathat, I think, might be my pick for the Kentucky Oaks right now. With no Moonlight Darrow, I think Malathat took that spot. I absolutely love Malathat, and if that horse only beat Millie Philly by 3/4 of a length going a lot longer in the slot, I think this is a great spot. She's got plenty of tactical speed, too. Her first 2 starts were both doing 1-turn miles at Belmont Park. She got a second, missed by 3/4 length, and then 1 by 4 lengths. She's got a lot of ability. I think this is a great spot for her to start what I'm hoping will be a big 3-year-old year for her. I'm agreeing with you on Vequist that is a defensive use at best. We can move on from that one because we have one. Nope, that's it as far as our agreements goes. I'll talk about the other one that I use, the 4 Curlin's Catch. This is obviously a daughter of Curlin out of an AP Indy mare. She was my choice to win the Suncoast Stakes last time out before a bunch of horses scratched out of that, including the top 2 choices. So when she won, she was, of course, the 9-5 favorite. Didn't get the nice price I wanted, but she's got a lot of good breeding. She has one going a 1-turn mile here before. You see that's how she broke her maiden. Mark Cassie's been very high on her. The concern here is that she is cutting back from routing to sprinting. She doesn't have super speed. Even when she did break her maiden going gate to wire, she was 24. Sped it up, went 46.5, but it wasn't overall a very fast race. She's not going to get the lead here because there are a lot of really sharp sprinters trying to stretch out to a mile. But she is undefeated on the dirt so far. I like her here. You didn't, at least not enough to put on your ticket.
No, I think I don't think she's going to get the lead, and I don't love the Suncoast from Tampa. Like, that to me just wasn't that good of a race, especially after the scratches came out of it. So yes. I just think that there are horses with higher upside, or horses that are already better, or horses that have a better tactical advantage. Like you mentioned, she's not making the lead. I don't see a ton of pace in here, so there are some horses that I'm interested in if they can make the lead. One of them is a little bit of a swing, but we'll talk about that soon. And so for me, I felt like you could kind of go a couple other places and get a better price or better value. And in that same vein, the other horse on my must-use here is a 6-horse Crazy Beautiful, who I think is a very good value at 6-1. I realize this horse went off at 16-1 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly. Horse still took a decent step forward there, ran 6th, and wasn't blown away. But if you look back at the races prior to that, was a 2-1 favorite against Simply Ravishing. Prior to that, the Pocahontas runs well in the debutante over at Ellis Park as well. McPeak off the layoff, 10%. Junior Alvarado, yeah. I mean, Robbie Alvarado, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, there's a couple things I don't like here.
Right.
I do like the 6-1 value. And I do think this is one of the classier horses that we saw. We've also seen a couple Liam's Map horses get older or get better as they get older. And this is the first start of the 3-year-olds campaign for this horse. I think you could see a decent step forward. I think this horse will be forwardly placed. And I think this horse is offering value at 6-1 versus what you're going to see. Like, I kind of know what the 6 is. If the 3 doesn't show up, the 6 is the best horse on paper, right? And now, assuming no one else takes a big step forward, that's kind of the issue. But I do think that the 6 could take a step forward as well, being the first start for a Liam's Map as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, definitely has plenty of class, and she's my she was the last one off the ticket for this race for me. The reason I didn't actually put it on is the humans. It's Robbie Alvarado is over 35 right now, and Kenny McPeek not a whole lot better. But the one thing that I've learned especially from Aaron and Jared, the time to play Kenny McPeek is when you think you're going to get value. And I think that 6-1, I wouldn't lock in at 6-1. I think her odds are going to go up because, as Dennis said earlier in the chat, everybody on our team who seems to be on Millie Philly, and everybody in the chat is on Millie Philly. 5-1, think 5-2 on her. So a lot of that money is going to go to Millie Philly. Crazy Beautiful, I think you're going to get value. So, if you like 6-1, I think you'll like even better what you get on race day.
Yeah, I would expect that you're going to see closer to 10 to 12 to 1 because there are a lot of, there's going to be a buzz horse or two, and people like Vequist is going to take a ton of money. Mm-hmm. So for my absolute swing, I'm going to go to the 9-horse Hindsight. This horse, look, we got 20 to 1 on the morning line. Gaffleon picks up the mount. I actually think this is your speed here. I think that Hindsight's going to be the horse that gets the lead. And I'm kind of worried that whoever gets the lead may be able to go with it. This horse is coming out of 6th and 7th furlong sprint races. They went 23 in the opening quarter and 22 and 4 in the opening quarter. Both times this horse was within 2 lengths. Look, this is the first off a longer layoff. It's a $150,000 daughter of Pioneer of the Nile. The workouts have been good with back-to-back bullets. Not at a major track, not all that fast, but still the back-to-back bullets. And the fact that Gaffleon ends up here is awfully interesting to me. Has not ridden for this barn in 2 years. And this is where we end up. Bayerano picked up that mount at Keeneland and at Churchill. So it's not just like a scrub jockey that took the first 2 mounts. Mm-hmm. I think this horse might have some talent. I realize we need to take a big-time step forward, but I'm willing to take a shot at a price in someone that I think can wire this field.
Boy, that is a shot. But listen, I've learned that even if it doesn't win, Vicky Oliver is really sneaky with some of horses when she brings them into these graded stakes races where I look at them and go, I don't think that horse has a shot. And the next thing I know, they got second, they got third. The breeding is there to be able to handle stretching out. And like you mentioned, Gaffleon hopping aboard draws some interest. And Bayerano is a very talented rider in Kentucky. So the fact that he saw fit to ride the first 2 starts is a big sign as well. But really, listen, I think everybody here is on Millie Philly, and hopefully if we can get something close to 5-1, that's one of those ones where if you can lock in the odds, try and lock in, because 5-1 on race day, I don't think that's happening the way we're all talking about her.
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly going to go off as a second choice. So we'll see what that. It's all about how much money Vequist takes.
Yeah. We'll move on to the third leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, February 27th. Race 13. This is the Grade 3 $125,000 The Very One Stakes, a very deep field of 10 fillies and mares 4 and up plus 1 main track only entry, going 1 mile and 3/16 on the Gulfstream Park lawn. And just to show you how deep and even this field is, Mike, your favorite is the number 6 California Queen at 4-1 for Chad Brown, number 3 Antoinette at 9-2, number 2 Belle Laura at 5-1. I went 4 deep here. I figured if you like a horse in this that we don't talk about, go ahead and play, because it's probably going to have a good shot to win here. But who are you putting on top, Mike?
I ended up going 5 deep here. And look, I've been talking about how cold the Chad Brown barn is. I'm going to go ahead and put an 8-1 Chad Brown horse on top here. I'm going to go to the 7 horse, Bacalina.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Look, this horse has run very, very well when it's the last time out. Ran an 84 buyer over this track. Loves Gulfstream Park. Absolutely loves it. 2 for 3 with a second place as well. What does Chad Brown do well? Turf fillies, especially turf fillies starting to go long. If he's going to break out of what this slump is, and I realize 15% isn't necessarily a slump, but when you watch some of his horses and how they get bet and what his ROI is at this track, you're like, yeah, this is kind of a slump right now. This is the type of race that you're going to see him break out in. Zinger. So I'm hoping we get 8-1 here. I'm not sure that we do get 8-1 here, but if you just look at this horse, I mean, you have the 85, the 88 buyers and the progression at Gulfstream Park. Now we're early in the 5-year-old season. This horse has barely run. We're getting second off a layoff. I hate the fact this is a Union Rags horse. We've talked about how Union Rags not good on the turf course, but this is a horse that is 3 for 7 over the turf. So that to me breaks that trend. I'm not worried about the sire in that point because we've already seen that progression. This is the logical place Brown takes a huge step forward with this horse, right? Like, this horse has a monster 5-year-old season, jumps its buyer from 84 up to the low 90s and absolutely steamrolls this field. Oh, by the way, we've also got tactical speed, which is something that I really like in Chad Brown horses. When you think back of his horses that, like, when they have tactical speed, they are just ultra dangerous and tough to beat. This is one of those situations. I think the 7's a great play at 8-1. I'm spreading like crazy here. I am going to go 5 deep. I will use the other brown as a defensive use because I'm using the first one. It was my 5th horse on the ticket, California Queen. But I'm interested to see where you ended up. Did you use either of the browns?
I did. I used both Chad Browns. Listen, I call Bacchanalia the outlier because who's her sire, Mike? Union Rags.
Yeah.
What is Union Rags really shitty at percentage-wise? Turf races. So the fact that she's got 3 wins, a second and a third, hey, man, she good enough to overcome that pedigree. No, in all seriousness, she's second off the layoff. That was a very impressive race last out. She's 5. You don't usually see Chad Brown horses peak when they're 5, but it happens sometimes. He's very patient with them and bringing them along. She's been working very well. You can see lots of nice works on the tab. She did a bullet 48-4 work in tandem with the 6 California Queen earlier this month at Palmetto. So they both look like they've been training well. They've been training consistently together in company, so you have that going for you. She's got a little bit more tactical speed than her stablemate, which I think is why you probably put her on top, or at least one reason why you put her on top. But the horse that beat her 2 back, Orglandis, all she did was go to Santa Anita or Del Mar. She came out to California and kicked everybody's ass. That's all I remember about her.
Well, everyone from the East Coast does that, so.
My top pick here, I almost went, Aaron says, Baka Daka Laka. That's a good one, too. I like that one. My top pick, I'm going with the 3, Antoinette. Boy, I always like this horse. She's so fun. She won the Saratoga Oaks last year, going this distance at Saratoga. Went to the Belmont Oaks, almost won, almost went gate to wire with Johnny V, and then gets beat by Magic Attitude. If you were listening to the Magic Mike show, you know how much I love Magic Attitude. I'm going to scratch off the Valley View for 2 reasons. Her last start when she was just well beaten 8th. First of all, she drew post 10. Going 2 turns, or going to mile 16th at Keeneland, that means that she took 2 steps out of the gate and it was and turn. So F it. She scratched that out completely. She'd also been running all year long. She probably just needed a break. Bill Mott is very strong, 19%. Coming back from a break, she's got very good tactical speed, so she can be on the lead if she needs to. She can settle off. She's shown going a long distance that she can settle on the lead, which isn't a very easy thing to do here. I don't think she's lone speed here, but she could. You have a situation where, like Aaron says, the jockeys read the forms too. And Jose Ortiz is on Antoinette, and then you've got Belle Lore and Edgar Zayas. And maybe Jose's going to look at that and go, well, Edgar's going to send, so I'll take back. Maybe Edgar says, oh, Jose's going to send, I'll take back. You can't really play that game. Just assume they're both going to try and go to the front. But I really love Antoinette here. And 9-2, she's the favorite. I think I'm still going to get something pretty close here.
Yeah, I think the morning line is very difficult in this race. I could not. If you told me who's going to be the favorite, I don't even know. It would be hard to guess right now, and so I don't envy the morning line maker in this spot because this is a very competitive race. I agree with you on Antoinette. This was my other must-use horse. It has the back class. Rarely do you see this, but actually has run this distance twice and won once and finished second the other time. So he likes the distance. I don't see a ton of speed in here either, and I think that she's going to be one of the classier forwardly placed horses. It's the same reason why I went with the 7 over the 6 and the 2 Chad Brown horses. I think that the 3 has a legit shot of wiring this field, and again, it's Mott bringing a horse back, and I think now that you even mention it, maybe this is the reason Mott doesn't have 2 horses in here. Maybe Anthony. Oh, well, okay, never mind then. Yeah, that's right, because I'm using both of them.
Yeah, we're both using both.
Yeah. So I do think that Antoinette will be forwardly placed, maybe even be able to take him gate to wire. There's a bunch of other sort of speed, but like you look at Bella Laura and 2 back going a mile and 16th, they go 49 in the opening half, and the horse isn't on the lead. So you kind of like, well, maybe this horse isn't going to want to go after it. It's going to be interesting to see who wins that race to the first turn, though. Since the 2 is on the inside, you'd expect that the 2 gets to the turn first and is able to get the job done. The other Mott here is the 9 horse, Warlake Goddess. I'm going to be using this horse, as will you. This is the most lightly raced horse in the field. The first time out as a 4-year-old, only 3rd career start. This is a daughter of English Channel. We talk about how English Channel horses tend to get better as they get older. This is one of those that I think will definitely do that. This horse has been able to storm home from off the pace twice at Churchill Downs. I think we're going to see a similar style, which scares me a little bit, but I'm hoping that there is enough speed up front for this one to chase down. Seriously, man, the Calumet whiskey is going to have to be busted out hard if English Channel is able to, or daughter of English Channel is going to be able to get home. And I like the fact that Leparoux picks the mount back up. He's been sneaky good in some of these stakes races, and you're going to get him. He actually rode this horse to its maiden breaking score. Love the turn of foot in the 2 replays I saw. I'm excited to see what War Goddess can do, but your Warlike Goddess is going to do. But you do need that early pace, which I'm a little concerned you may not get a ton of here.
You know my favorite part about this? Well, I love this horse too. Obviously, we used. I love that we're going to get 10-1 on the morning line here. And for good reason. I think it's a fair price because of who else is in here and because of how deep it is. And your favorite's 9-2. But now she's a 4-year-old English Channel. English Channels get better with age and they get better with distance. She loves distance, so we see that in her form. How often do you see Bill Mott have a horse that is undefeated in 2 starts and then go right into a stakes race? It doesn't happen that often. He usually takes his time. The good ones, they might get second or third and then break the maiden and then maybe win an allowance. This one, very solid in both starts, especially that second time. She beats maidens, but then the second race she has to face winners and horses with experience and older horses. And what does she do? She beats the shit out of them in that race. So it was a really great to see her show up here. If she doesn't win here, this is a filly that I'm very excited about for the whole year and to just watch what happens with her, because being an English Channel, distance and time are going to be her best friend here. So we have been in full agreement here. I went 4 deep. We've talked about them. You went 5 deep, and the horse that you used is the one I didn't. That kind of scares me a little bit. Talk about the 11 Dominga.
Yeah, you're going to be even more scared when this horse crosses the wire, 15-1, my friend. Look, the 11 is one of those horses that you got to kind of dig a little bit to get excited about. But let me tell you, I kind of love this horse. Like this ended up being my 3rd pick after the 3 and the 7. That last race, just complete line through it. So Cox adds the blinkers, okay? And then if you watch the replay, the horse kind of breaks okay, but then gets shuffled back. So it was 6 lengths off the lead, gets shuffled back to 10, starts to make a run, 4 to 5 wide, just in the middle of horses, never really that clean. Just the whole trip is just a mess. Not to mention that it's also over a yielding turf course. This horse has run better over firm turf courses. So you have every excuse in the books to just chuck that race out. Horses improve second-time blinkers. People often ignore that angle. The second-time blinkers is sometimes when horses take a step forward. I think Dominga can definitely do that. This is first time out as a 4-year-old. This horse is live and dangerous. Brad Cox has been doing absolutely nothing wrong. And if you want to talk shit about the 11 hole, we got a big run up into the turn. It doesn't matter as much here at the 1 3/16 distance because we have about, almost a full quarter mile before we get to the turn. So you're going to have much more time to be able to work out a trip. I think this horse is live and dangerous. If you look back at the Beyers, the 83, the 84 Beyer in May or June of a 3-year-old season, early in the 4-year-old season, man, this horse could run the low 90s, mid 90s. And if blinkers do help this horse take a step forward, watch out. I mean, this horse could run a big number at a big price.
I love that you brought up the post. The post is not why I didn't play Dominga. Price is the only reason I didn't play Dominga here. But she, by the way, will break from my absolute favorite post, number 10, because the 8 horses and MTO is going to scratch. So you can even add that into there too. Here's what scares me about her. She's a first time as a 4-year-old ghost sapper out of a Dynaformer mare with Brad Cox as the trainer. Also what scares me is as you were speaking, there's a little bit of a delay when we're live versus when the people can comment and that shows up here. Every time Nick Feldman says that he loves a horse when we're watching this, the horse runs its eyeballs. It doesn't always win, but as soon as you started talking, Nick says, well, I like the 11. I'm like, God damn it. All right, maybe if a horse scratches, I've got to throw the 11 in here because if you like it and Nick likes it, I don't think Aaron hates her. I mean, there's a lot to love in this race, though. So, again,
if you can get around the well, we don't know who the favorite's going to be. So this race is like, if you can find a horse at a price that you like, go for it. I'm 5 deep in a 10-horse race. You can hit the all button here if you wanted to single one of my other legs. If you like the favorite, in the last leg, if you wanted to go crazy and single Prime Factor, which I almost did, you could do that as well. I mean, so there are ways that you can cut the ticket cost down to hit the all button here. But I almost think there's value in just playing the 3, 7, 11 and hoping that you're right, or adding the 9 and not using the 6. I mean, this is one of those interesting spots where if you play like a $5 ticket, you could get a 10, 11 to 1 horse home that's logical in this leg and play chalk around it and still do very well.
Let's move on to the 4th and final leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, February 27th. The main race, the one we've rated 13 races to show up. This is the Grade 2 $300,000 Fasig-Tipton Fountain of Youth Stakes. You've got a field of 10 3-year-old males going 1 1/16 miles on the main track. A lot of these horses, their first time routing. Some of them are coming out of the Holy Bull, including the winner of that race, Greatest Honor. He's your 9-5 favorite. Second place, Tarantino, not getting a whole lot of love, 8-1. Our boy Prime Factor, our entire Fantasy League hopes and dreams rely on the number 2 Prime Factor at 5-1. The number 4 Fire at Will, your Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Champion, 7-2 second choice. Will he like fast dirt? That's the big question here. What are you doing on top?
Well, I'm torn. I have 2 horses that I'm using on top. I'm not going to pick a winner because literally to me, this is a 2-horse race. It's either Greatest Honor or it's Prime Factor. I don't really see how anyone else wins this race. I think Fire at Will on the dirt is not. I don't want any piece of it. Look, Declaration of War has put out some good dirt horses, so I'm not going to knock the breeding in that sense. But Maker had this horse 4 times on the turf, or try to get it 4 times on the turf. 1 time it gets taken off. He was able to get the win that race, but it was over a sloppy track, and I'm not going to get too much into that and get excited about a horse that needs to be that wants to be out there, wants to be close to the lead. There are so many things against Fire at Will in this spot. This is a really tough spot off the bench. Going 2 turns with other speed. This is a lot of firsts here for Fire at Will. At 7-2, I have absolutely no interest in that horse. Greatest Honor looked huge last time out. Absolutely huge, and had the base underneath it to be able to run that effort. We talked about it after the race. It had gone 2 turns before. It kind of been building up to that. That was its 5th start in its form cycle. I'm not sure if Greatest Honor has another step forward to take, but even that last race is going to make it awfully difficult. So I think Greatest Honor is probably the best horse in this race, or has definitely run the best race that we've seen. Prime Factor may be the most talented horse in this race. We talk about going 2 turns the second time as often when you see a big step forward. If you watch that race back, Prime Factor was in a great position, looked like it was going to fire, and just got tired. It just didn't have the seasoning underneath him. I believe that we have more of that seasoning now. I actually like the 5-1 price. I did sit here and consider singling. If Greatest Honor wasn't in this race, I would single Prime Factor. But because Greatest Honor shows up here, I'm not confident enough to single Prime Factor because of the effort. Greatest Honor was so good in that race. It's in the Holy Bull that it's just hard to say, well, Prime Factor is going to turn the table by 6 lengths like that when Greatest Honor really had everything his own way. I do think that Prime Factor may be the more talented horse. It's just whether or not we're going to see it today, and is it going 2 turns more talented? Because that's the other issue that we need to answer that question. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, big questions, and I think that's pretty much every horse here has a big question mark. Greatest Honor, my question mark is, does he have another step forward? Because all of my concerns you just outlined regarding him. Prime Factor, is he good? Which Prime Factor we get? We get the one that won on debut and had everybody buzzing and people were trying to trade up in the fantasy league to get, or are we gonna get the one that just spit the bit in the Holy Bull, and he's ultimately better as a 1-turn miler horse? It drained the clock. We haven't even talked about it. Neither one of us are using him, but he's now going to try stretching out from the rail. That's a perfect draw for a horse that is all speed, that is coming out of sprint races, who's never crossed the wire less than first. The one time he didn't win a race is because he broke the irons, and poor Figueroa went flying off the side. Fire at Will, the question mark, obviously, is the dirt. I will say, not only has Declaration of War done very well as a sire, no matter what the surface is, just like his daddy Warfront. But the one time this horse tried dirt, he was 3rd, beaten a nose and a head in the Breeders' Cup Classic in 2013 on dirt. I had to make sure this wasn't when Sanity was synthetic, but he was a nose and a head behind Mucho Macho Man and Will Take Charge in his final start, and then he retired. So very capable. It's just a matter of, does this specific horse, who's out of a Kitten's Joy mare, is he going to like the fast dirt? I'm willing to roll the dice, but you're 7-2. This is the shortest price he's going to be, other than when he broke his maiden in the With Anticipation taken off the turf, and he was 3-1 that day in a field of 4. So there's really a wedding funeral situation here if you're not careful. So don't put all your eggs into the basket of Fire at Will.
Well, I think if you're going to play Fire at Will, it's almost a single. If you think that Fire at Will can take to the dirt and is going to take a step forward, this is how you separate yourself. I mean, I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form. But if you look at ran a 90 buyer as a 2-year-old, that logically, if he comes back and runs a better buyer, this is the best horse in the field. But there's a lot of other circumstances that are out there that make me believe that there's going to be some issues here. I don't think you're getting 7-2 either. I think you're getting closer to 2-1 when we actually break out of the gate. I think Greatest Honor and Fire at Will are going to take all the money here.
Neither one of us used Tarantino. I didn't even consider him for a second. And this is a horse that was between Greatest Honor and Prime Factor. So some people might say, well, if you're using Prime Factor, using Greatest Honor, you got to use Tarantino. I think we saw Tarantino's limits on dirt last time out. And I think that he got second because Prime Factor is just really tired. I don't think he was really that overly impressive. Is that the same thing you felt?
Yeah, I mean, he was the look, Prime Factor was going flying by him before he got tired. And then he just kind of stopped, right? And that's why he got caught up to. So I don't see a way that, look, if you're playing underneath, I could make an argument for using this horse in the 3rd spot, in the 2nd spot, if you want to try and get creative. I don't see any way this horse wins the race. I think then, so when we're playing pick 4s, this to me is just not a horse that's usable.
Here's a note. I finally got Declaration of War's sire stats. He is 18% dirt route winners out of 222 starters, and the best that any of his kids have ever posted from a Beyer speed figure perspective came on dirt route with a 97. So again, that's an overall stat. I've got a hope. I'm hoping that Fire at Will is one of those horses that will like to it, but it's definitely not a sure thing here. So be very careful what you want to do. I thought what Mike said, if you want a single Fire at Will, if you're really sure that he's going to hit the dirt, that's how you separate it right there.
And to me, I did consider I went too deep. I used the 2 and the 8. I do think they're standouts. If I was going to take a shot in here, I actually kind of have a little interest in the 6 horse, King's Ovation, who is a 15-1 morning line price, complete new shooter here. It's a second time off the layoff for Dale Romans. And the first time this horse is stretching out around 2 turns, it seems like it's wanted more distance in each of the 3-7 furlong races. And so getting the mile on the 16th is what makes this horse interesting to me. This is a flyer type horse, where if you want to, I do think using it underneath in the tries or supers might be a good play. I think it would take a lot. It would take a pace collapse for this horse to win, which maybe could happen if Greatest Honor doesn't fire in the pace collapse, and then the 6 horse can pick up the pieces. But I do think it's worth at least noting that this horse could improve quite a bit second off a layoff, first time routing. And then Drain the Clock to me was the other one that if you want to use, you can use. I think Drain the Clock is interesting enough that a wire to wire type move that I wouldn't try and talk you off Drain the Clock. Let's put it that way. The horse's Beyers fit, back-to-back 85 Beyers. The biggest question is routing. My biggest question is, why haven't you tried to route yet? This is the waters are deep here, and Madacat obviously gets a piece of this horse, and then all of a sudden we're on the Triple Crown Trail. I wonder how much that affected the decision-making process here as well. So I'm concerned about the distance. It's why I'm not using Drain the Clock, but I do think Drain the Clock is a very good horse.
I agree with you. If you do like Drain the Clock, another thing for you, remember a mile on the 16th on the main track at Gulfstream Park means they stop at the 16th pole. So speed is good. Speed is your friend. If you like Drain the Clock, you think he's got a shot and he can hold on until that 16th pole, go ahead and use him. We're not, but yeah, you could. There's
a lot of speed in here, though. That's my other concern with Drain the Clock. I mean, Fire at Will is going to go. Tarantino is going to go. So Subtle was on the lead last time out. I mean, there's a lot of sneaky speed that I think you're going to end up seeing show up here. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see the 23 and change, 46 and change here for the first half.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thank you so much for joining Mike and I to talk about the Saturday late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park. Again, 14 races, 9 of them are graded stakes. By the way, I just realized none of those are grade 1s. This is the greatest 14 race card with 9 graded stakes, and none of them are grade 1s that I've ever seen. So hats off to you, Gulfstream. It's beautiful. If you're watching live or the replay, look below. We've got the ticket numbers down here just in case, but we'll go through it one last time. Mike, I will start. I'm going to go 268 with 345 with 3679 with 248. That is a $54 ticket for 50 cents, and for the first time in a month, I'm cheaper than you.
Yeah, who knew, right? I'm going to go 269 with 3569 with 367911 with 28 for 50 cents. That'll cost you $60, and hopefully the 6 horse has a good day, I guess, right?
Yeah, geez, no kidding. Yeah, it's always funny when I do this a lot. There's usually one number that's like a common denominator in all my plays here. I'm like, God, I really hope this number has a good day. Over at racingdudes.com, I mentioned that the website is new in design. I'll go ahead and get that pulled up real quick so we can show it to you folks. But while you're visiting racingdudes.com to check out the brand new design and the new look, make sure you check out the handicapping products page, because the inside track to the Fountain View Stakes wagering guide is in pre-sale-ish form. That'll be up soon. Hopefully, especially if you're listening to the podcast or watching this on replay, you'll be able to at least do the pre-sale by then. But the product is finished. It's just the website took a little bit of time, understandably so for the guys. But make sure you go check that out. That is available. It's going to be $30 if you purchase it on its own. If you get any of the 30-month packages or higher than that, even if they include the summer bombs, you are getting this for free along with every other wagering guide. And Mike, coming up next 2 months, we have a guide for the San Felipe Stakes. We have a guide for the Rebel. We have a guide for the Louisiana Derby. We have a guide for the Florida Derby. This is the first of 5 straight weeks where we're having a No, I'm sorry. We get next week off, and then it's 4 straight weeks. That's at least nice. Wow, we got a lot of guides happening at racenews.com. So my point is, get a 30-day subscription package, and it's going to include all of those guides, and that right there is the value alone. Plus, you get all the picks from every track, every day around the country, and then you got the Samo Bombs, which you didn't get to do the grid because of the website design, but I got a feeling you are really licking your chops at this 14-race card.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to play this card. I'm thinking about going to Santa Anita one day. I had a lot of success at Santa Anita last weekend, so I'm thinking about heading over there one day and playing Santa Anita, possibly on Sunday to spice it up a little bit. But yeah, I cannot wait to dig into this card further because it's a monster of a card, and you get a lot of the horses that we saw. Performer and I, the Jedi, get to match up again. So I'm excited to see everyone come back and face each other, and hopefully we have a big day on Saturday.
So it should have been 5 straight weeks because I forget February only has 28 days. But Aaron's coming in here as a wet blanket saying no San Felipe. Hey, Aaron, kiss my ass. What do you mean no San Felipe? It's Santa Anita.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about
Aaron.
the Great One versus Life is
dude.
Good?
Jeez.
God, lazy son of a gun. He gets a brand new website and he thinks he can just take the rest of the time off.
East Coast bias.
Thank
Oakland
you.
starts running again. He just doesn't care about anywhere else.
That's exactly what it is. Oaklawn shows up, and finally Oaklawn thaws out. I was so happy that they finally are going to have that it's racing and that it's thawed out and it's safe again in Arkansas and Missouri and Texas for all these people. Well, now I take it all back because it just got ruined. So
what about Fauner Park? Can we get a Fauner Park guide going? Come on.
Yeah, where's the can we replace it with Fauner Park? How about that, Aaron? Come on. We'll make it a discount because nobody knows what the hell's going on there except you. While you're over at racenews.com, Dr. Miranda previewed the Davona Dale in full. She gave her picks and best bets as well. That is on the preview for the Fountain of Youth Stakes on the website. It's over on our YouTube channel as well. You can check that out right now. I will tell you, she's been really good at a lot of these races, especially with the Exacta. She gave out the Exacta for the Saudi Cup last week, which paid $40 for a $2 bet. So she knows what she's talking about. She does her research. So go give her a view and a listen and a follow as well. Speaking of following, follow us on Twitter. I am at Curtis Kellaward. He is at SummerBomb18. Number 1, number 8. Corporate Overlords are at Racing_Dudes. Blinkers Off will be on later today to talk about, I'm sure, the Southwest Stakes, which we didn't even get a chance to talk about. That's finally happening in Oaklawn. The Fountain of Youth. All that and a lot more. Mr. Samich, any parting words?
Yeah, we got another NHC qualifier on Sunday if anyone wants to get involved. And then if you are a tour member, make sure that you sign up for the free tournament on March 6th. There's only 3,000 spots. Top 5 get an NHC seat. There's zero cost to play it. So if you are signed up, make sure you get out there and sign up early because I bet that thing is going to fill and you don't want to be left out.
3,000 slots, I think they were. I was number 16 to sign up. As soon as I got the email, I was like, free? I'm free. I love free.
You can sign it over at horseplayers.com. All you have to do is be an NHC tour member. You can actually sign up for it without it, but then you can't win the seat, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. But if you are an NHC tour member, make sure you're playing. You can get tour points. There's 5 NHC seats. You have to pretty much go perfect, but hey, you never know. Worth a shot for free.
Mike and I will be in that one. I'm sure Jared and Aaron are going to be in that. Dr. Tang's going to be in there. I'm sure Nick Feldman, Nick Sievers, all of the usual Magic Mike gang is going to be part of that. So come out and join. It's a lot of fun. We can see how we all do. And like Mike said, with it being 3,000 entries and it being free, people are just going to be taking gigantic shots. So have fun with it. Don't put too much thought and stress into it. Have a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see you on the leaderboard just underneath all of our names. Until next time, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Good luck this weekend. Go Prime Factor, please.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.